What's good, everybody? It's Schmitty along with Christian Cooper, and another episode of Scares on Baseball, the podcast with balls. Today we're talking Phillies Giants wrap up with a look ahead to the Dodgers 3-game series before a nice all-star break. But first,
Patrick Bailey. Patrick hits a high drive. Deep right center field. Alto, al derecho. And it's off the top of the wall. And it's off the top of the wall. La pelota la está buscando Castellanos. La pelota choca contra la cerca. And it ricochets. And it's rolling on the warning track. Rolling along the warning track. Ay, ay, ay. Patrick Bailey le está dando vuelta a tercera base. This game is tied. The game is tied. 2 runs are in. Bailey's around third. Bailey's on the move. Bailey's on the move. Bailey coming around third. He's heading for home. This game is tied. Bailey's around third. He's heading for home. Patrick Bailey scores. Va a ser cuadrangular dentro del parque y los gigantes acaban de ganar el juego. It's an inside the park walk-off home run. Yes, now we've seen everything. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, right. Kristen, talk to me.
Dude, okay, we can just erase yesterday from our minds because the night before was epic. And the calls were epic, and everything about that was epic. Watching Marsh sprint along the warning track, chasing the ball. I mean, that was incredible, you know. And the game wasn't going particularly well until that point, right? And all of a sudden, boom, they just opened a can of whoop ass.
Yeah. The funniest comment I read online was when you're talking about the guy chasing the ball, the guy's like, that looked like Rocky chasing the chicken.
I saw that.
I was cracking up on that
That
one.
was amazing. So, yeah, I mean, that was cool. And I think Bailey needed that just because it's been a rough year for him at the plate, especially. And it's nice to see a guy come up like that. That was good. So hopefully that carries over. You know, I think Nisner played yesterday, caught Verlander, and man, the curse of the 35 is just hanging around like a bad fart. It's really a bummer.
The curse is real, baby. 35. You want to jump right into Brandon Crawford's jersey like that after he got disrespected by Farhan, and we're trying to make things better so he'll return as some type of presence. I don't know what to say because Verlander called him. They said it was good, but the baseball gods are like, no.
Yeah. And to be fair to Verlander, like he pitched well, you know. He's starting to take a lot of flack now. I see a lot of stuff on social media. So, look at his 4.07 ERA. This guy's hanging up. Everybody's saying he should retire, right? And, you know, I'll say this for Justin Verlander. He hasn't had a good year in terms of win-losses, right? But he has pitched well in the majority of his starts. And let's face it, man, he's taking it like a pro. He's doing the post-game press conferences, and he's saying, like, look, I feel good on the mound. Things are going. And he's not putting any blame on anybody. And it would be so easy in his position to be like, man, I came to this team, and it's like, they don't do shit for me, right? And now it's become a thing. Like it's the curse. He's hexed. But people saying he should retire and he sucks. It's just terrible. They're like going after his brother, like
It's crazy. It's
come on.
super crazy. Big shout out to Burlingame. D-Boggs is in the house. Got to meet him briefly down at the San Jose Giants game. Hey, let's coordinate because I want to go back down there. I'm an autograph collector and I got half the team that day and I want to finish up. But I've been really enjoying going to those single A games. So we'll have to do something where we get some guys together. But on Justin Verlander, I read this stat today. In 15 starts, how many runs have the Giants scored for Verlander in 15 starts?
I want to guess 5.
5 total in 15 starts?
It sure seems like it.
It's not that bad, but 26 runs. So less than 2 runs a game.
Less than 2 a game, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like 0.
I'm sure it feels like that for him, right? Jeez Louise.
So anyways, look, the Phillies series, Giants own the Phillies this year. They win the season series. They split in Philadelphia and they took 2 out of 3 here. That's gigantic considering what a powerhouse Philly is. And hey, you can't do nothing about it when Bryce Harper decides to wake up and he has 3 doubles and a home run. Come on now.
Did you see his post-game interview?
No.
Oh man, we should bring that up. He's like, I'm really good. You guys know, and I don't want this to be weird or anything, but I'm one of the best in it's insane. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like Harper, I used to hate him. I used to hate him when he was young and he was brash and he's earned whatever it is that the swagger, but to throw it around like that, it's like, okay, man, I hats off to you, but it's kind of like when you're that good, you let other people say how good you are, right?
Yeah.
We know that in skateboarding, that's the way, you don't go around thumping your chest. You let other people do it for you.
And that's what Barry said. He's like, I don't need to talk about myself. Other people do. And it was like,
good or bad.
Yeah, different perspective. But Barry Bonds Kipe interview. No, I just saw that when I was turning on my computer. It was on my YouTube suggestions. So I'm looking forward to that. Anytime Barry's doing an interview, especially with Kuiper or one of our guys, it's probably great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
As opposed to when he sat down with Marcus and Murph, and I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch a second of that because I'm sure the stupid questions were flying, or they were just sitting there like, oh, you're Barry Bonds. Oh. So
how many dad jokes did Murph try to tell Barry?
How many Marin County
Rory the Greek
anecdotes? Back when we were with the kids at Travel Ball and we were playing Stanislaus for the regionals and get out of here. So Phillies down, Dodgers coming up. And listen, the pitching matchups, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it too. I just don't like the goddamn prices. And so I was talking to these guys. I was in the chat this morning with some other show and we were all talking about it, and I'm like, God damn it, last year they did the same shit where they do these giveaways during the weekend games against the Yankees or the Dodgers. It's like you don't need giveaways for those games. Those games are going to sell out regardless. And what the guy told me kind of opened my ears and eyes, and I was like, okay, so it's a tale of two swords. The philosophy is if you have a Barry Bonds giveaway, people are less reluctant to sell their tickets, which means less Dodger fans at the game. So I think that's what they're trying to do. But for a guy like me who buys a lot of tickets on the fly, I look over at all the different apps, and the cheapest ticket, standing room only, was $146 or $151, I think, for Saturday's game. And I'm just like, I gotta go, but I ain't rich.
Yeah, that's steep to stand on the mezzanine, $146.
Yeah, and
Yeah, wear
then
some really comfortable shoes if you're gonna do that one, man.
well, I kinda like that better than the bleachers because the no back is I'd rather stand up than sit down with no back, I think. I mean, I'll sit down for a little bit, but, like, 9 innings, no back, it hurts.
You need to get what I've got. I've got the
Yeah,
little seat that you put on the bleachers, and it has
ye
a little back on it.
yeah, I
So,
just don't sit in the bleachers enough, but I probably should just get one of those anyway so I have
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, the Dodgers are coming off a rough one. I mean, they've been spiraling the last, what, 7 in a row they've lost? And, I watched a little bit of the Dodgers game yesterday, and it was like the announcers were just losing their mind at the end when, Brewers walk it off, and then one of them was basically saying, like, "Look, the Giants were 9 games back. Just it seems like yesterday, and all of a sudden the rivalry is on. They're back in the race." And it was like these guys didn't sound like they were excited. They sound like they were bummed, right? Like we're supposed to just steamroller everybody in the division and be up by 22 or 23 games at this point.
It's
Uh-uh.
not it's
Uh-uh.
not looking that way.
And the Padres are right there. They're only 1 game back of the Giants. Arizona has faded, but they're still hanging around a little,
Mhm.
If they continue to go down in the standings, though, I look for them to be sellers at the deadline. So,
Yeah, I could see Arizona falling out and doing some similar things.
yep.
We did get a public service announcement. Did you see that one? For the old brother of Mr. Fleming, Will Fleming, Red Sox.
Will Fleming, you can go fuck off, motherfucker. All right? You want to fucking take a conversation that we're having and then blow it out of proportion because you're a fucking East Coast piece of shit reporter? Fuck off.
Don't ever start rumors about Will. He's coming after you now, buddy.
Dude, that whole mess is so out of control, and it's like everybody's explained it already. Okay, look, like Devers is not going to be taking ground balls at first base when Boston's sitting there in the dugout right there. Okay,
Mhm.
like you don't need to poke the bear, right? I mean, yeah, they're not even in the same league, but it's like it's just not classy, right?
No.
So I understand where Will's coming from, but I understand more where he's coming from about people like bringing this shit out in public and talking a bunch of crap about it, right? Because now, like all the Red Sox fans that were all moping around, now they're all fired up. Yeah, we never wanted that guy. It's like, why did you give him gas, right? Is that really Dave Fleming's brother?
Yeah.
The guy who did the
Yeah,
broadcast with
Will
him a couple
Fleming,
weeks
his
ago?
brother broadcast from the Red Sox. Yeah.
He stepped in it there. Will Clark's the one guy in the whole organization you do not want to fuck with, right?
Yeah, and it's the thing that happens, and it happens constantly in media, is they'll take like a little piece of something and turn it into a different narrative,
Right.
and all of a sudden there's like these guys hate each other or whatever. And so that the Devers stuff or Devers, but Will's calling them Devers. I was loving that. The Devers stuff has been really, it's been huge because Red Sox, I mean, let's face it, they lost that trade and the fans are pissed. So now they have to get like half of their staff involved to like try to paint this different picture. And yeah, you're right. You just don't do that against Will the motherfucking
Will
Thrill.
Fleming, you can go fuck off, motherfucker.
That one's sticking around for a while, dude. I was like, wow.
He gave the power salute too. Not only was it the middle finger, but he gave the little.
Yeah. And you know what he blamed it all on?
What's that?
It's probably that AI bullshit.
I love Will and I love Deuces Wild because Burnsy is just epic and off the hook. Those guys are nuts, but you couldn't find 2 more solid baseball minds, guys that played the game at the uppermost levels and just they get it. They know it from the inside out. So
for sure.
Anything they say is kind of gospel in baseball, and They're never wrong.
Well, let's take a look at these pitching matchups. I see you got a couple of, or all three of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, first game of the series, we got
Sideshow
Webb.
Bob.
Sideshow Bob. Look, wow, he kind of like he's got like a frohawk going on there.
Did he shave his eyebrows?
It kind of looks like it, man.
Jeez, these guys.
A little forefront of fashion Grasso, you know.
Only 84 Ks to.
Yep. Yep.
So I think Friday night, unless we screw the pooch, you know, we should be favored to win Friday night.
Yep. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, look, the key to this series.
We got our gun on there.
The biggest key to the series is Giants pitching. The starters have to have quality starts, and the bullpen's just got to be lights out. There's no way around it, right? Because the Dodgers are all offense. Their pitching is weak. You know, look, you got this going on. Okay. Wow.
So
yeah.
How many innings are we going to give Ohtani? Is he going to at least get 3, or is he still on a 1 or 2 basis? Like what's his latest accomplishment?
I have no idea. Don't care. All I want is the Giants to knock him around early and get him out of the game right away. Not for the sake of, oh, we're afraid of him, but more for the sake of like, yeah, you're not coming into our house and like stretching it out. It's not happening. Right.
Well, I heard rumors that Manny Machado is good friends with Randy Rodriguez, and he owes him a favor. And Ohtani better look out in the 8th or 9th inning if the Giants got like a sizable lead.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's going to be interesting to see because all the smoke, the fire between the Giants and Dodgers is kind of taking a back seat to this Padres Dodgers rivalry. It's not really the rivalry, but they do not like each other, and they keep finding ways to not like each other more each series they play, which there's nothing more entertaining to watch, right?
There's a good point too. All the starters are righties, so I like that too.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then we've got this matchup, which is, you know, Yamamoto, God, he's going to be the greatest thing ever. He's 8-7 with a 2.77. You know, look at Robbie Ray's record. Look at his ERA. You know, his strikeouts, like everything about it.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Dodgers score more runs for Yamamoto than the Giants do for Ray. Also,
yeah, it's possible. But you know, at some point, the bats have to break out. You know, they can't continue the way they've been going. And once again, it all comes back to the situational hitting. I mean, we've been having this conversation as long as we've been doing this podcast, okay? And we've been having this conversation as long as you and I have been talking Giants, which is a lot longer than that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it is that's going to have to take place, but something's got to break loose. And I just feel like I don't know if guys are trying to do too much at the plate when there's runners on because they're feeling the pressure that it's like we never score any runs, we don't get them across, and then pop up, strikeout, foul out, you name it. I mean, it's just weak pop ups, you know, warning track balls, and nothing is getting down, right? So I don't know what it is. I wish I knew the answer. I'd make a phone call right now and tell them.
I think part of it is getting the chemistry for the lineup. I think the lineup still isn't 100% identifiable. We don't know if Jung-Hoo Lee is just not able to lead off, or if Elliott is their everyday leadoff, or if he's going to go in versus lefties only. And where's Wilmer going to go? Is Wilmer going to play? You know, there's a lot of just variables, and I think the break is going to help them, but it's also going to be a time for these guys to get healthy so that they can be like, hey, you're the number 2 hitter. You're the number 3 hitter. You're the number 4 hitter. And the right guys in front and in back of the right guys is going to be production. And right now, I hate to say it because I'm no smarter than Bob Melvin. I don't claim to be a better manager, but I just think Wilmer Flores needs to bat 6th or later in the lineup. 5th is just such a rally killer for his ground balls because he has no speed and he's so susceptible to hitting into double plays.
Yep.
And when you've got Chapman, Devers, Adames, Ramos, I mean, those four guys, they're our nucleus. And then hopefully Jung Hoo Lee is going to return to at least some normalcy because right now he's low. He started off high. He was on fire. And we can't expect that, but he's got to fit somewhere 275 to 285 range, I think. You know, I don't think he's going to be a 315 hitter all year, but he's definitely better than what he's been doing. And he's even been striking out, which is super uncharacteristic of him.
That's weird.
If we can get those guys, that five just cranking with Schmidt and Wilmer and maybe Encarnacion from time to time, Matos, Yaz, those guys towards the end, Christian Koss comes back, like whatever the chemistry is going to be for those guys need to be able to bunt a run over, hit a fly ball when there's a guy at third with less than 2 out. Like at least do what's expected of you, and anything more than that we'll applaud, but do what's expected.
Yeah. And you made a good point when you texted me earlier about Dom Smith being the starting first baseman.
I forgot about Dom.
And using Wilmer off the bench a little more often. You know, Wilmer's grounded into more double plays than almost anybody in the league. And it might even be more, except that he has a really good opposite field approach at times where he's just dinking balls out into right field and nobody's expecting it because they think Wilmer's swinging for the fence all the time. And he's trying to lay one in the gutter down the left field line, but he's managed to get a lot of clutch hits just going the other way and just for a single, right? Problem is, again, now he's on first base and you're like, oh man, next person hits a ground ball, or it's just a problem. So yeah, I'd like to see Dom Smith get a few more starts at first. I'd like to see Wilmer be a bench weapon, you know. And Wilmer's defense has started to show a few flaws as well, where he used to be fairly reliable at first base. He doesn't have the range of, you know, Casey Schmidt or somebody like that. Definitely doesn't have the range that Wade had. But yeah, when you're starting to make errors at first base on grounders and stuff, it's not a good look. And, you know, when you already got Ramos kind of taking some suspect routes to some balls and having some issues out in left field, you can't afford to have a bunch of errors coming from guys all over the diamond, right? It's bad. And against the Dodgers, they capitalize better than anybody on mistakes. That's part of their game plan, is like, look for somebody to screw it up, you know, take the extra base. I mean, you saw that with the Phillies. You know, the Phillies are looking for any opportunity. A bobble, yeah, I'm taking another base. Like they don't care. They're fearless that way. So you got to play just stellar defense all the time. You can't let your guard down. So if a guy's a defensive liability, maybe it's, you know, it's time to kind of like let somebody take over that spot a little bit. And at first base, you have options, you know. So look, we got Casey Schmidt back. That's great. We got Chapman back. That's big. And I think these guys are going to get up for this series. I think this is like a big deal. They haven't really faced the Dodgers, and it's like, this is a big one. It's at home. It's summertime. You know, it's time to turn on the torch.
And the big news came out today too, is to kind of reinforce that Buster's doing a good job. I think has a lot to do with Devers joining the team. But ESPN picked up a Sunday night game for the Giants, which we had none all year scheduled. But now they just picked up the Mets game. I think it's July 27th. Okay. Mets Giants got moved to 4:00, which is the Sunday game of the week. So ESPN will be here putting all the cameras and attention on us. That means we're starting to like other people besides the Bay Area is noticing us. And look, Devers is obviously not 100% right now. This all-star break couldn't come at a better time. I'm so glad he's not an all-star because he needs to rest, stretch, do some Bikram yoga or whatever and get his back better and come out swinging. I still got all my money on a Devers jersey. The minute he hits a ball in the McCovey Cove Fair splash hit, I will buy his jersey. I claimed that, and I'm not backing down to that. I'm just waiting. So if he does it this weekend, great. If not, I got probably like 2 more weeks of off time while they're on All-Star break and then on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, once his legs are right, his swing is gonna be right, everything's gonna be right, you know? He's been struggling with this groin thing for about a month now. I think even right before he came over to the Giants was when he started having some issues with it. And look, the Giants, how many games did they just play in a row without a day off?
A lot, like
Like
13 or something.
13
I'm not
games,
sure.
right?
Yeah, a
It's
lot.
like it's like that road trip they had at the beginning of the year where they played something like 17 days in a row without a day off. So
Mhm.
that's rough, man. And when you're an everyday guy in the lineup, I don't care if you're a field player or a designated hitter, that's a lot of wear and tear on guys and not a lot of rest. And it's like you can't ever like go to sleep at night thinking, oh man, tomorrow I could just relax. No, we got a game, man. I mean, that's tough. So today is a good thing, and I like that they've got a day off going into the Dodgers series, and the Dodgers are the one that's traveling, and they had a shitty flight back from Milwaukee, right? There's no other way to slice that. Those guys are on that plane. They don't have Max Muncy. They lost 7 in a row. They got swept by the Brewers. They got walked off in extras yesterday. Jackson Churio just said, "No, not in my house."
Love to see it. Love to
Yep.
see it.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the Phillies series again, though. I have some other points I wanted to make because this is right down your alley, and I really want to hear your perspectives. We know how much you loved Angel, but this guy Cuzzi, he's 69 years old, and he clearly did us a favor, uh, especially with Matt Chapman's at bats. I mean, Harper in the post game was pissed, furious, talking about it and everything. Um, they're going to put ABS in the All-Star game this year because of these guys. They are helping speed up the process. There would be more, friction if the umps were doing a better job. Part of the problem to me is these guys are too old. I mean, I'm an old guy and I hate to say it, but I got glasses now. My vision's not as great.
Right.
And you just gotta wonder like what's going on with the umpires union. And, we've had at least 3 or 4 guys that are like really bad, like eyesore. You see them before the game and you're like, oh no, you know? And I'm just wondering, like, what are your thoughts? I mean, clearly those pitches were in the box, they were probably 3 strikes that he called
Yep.
balls. And so that's just, I don't know what to think about that, but I'm not super excited about the ABS. I mean, I guess it'll be cool to dabble it, like to just have the one challenge, but if it's one challenge per at bat and then it just turns into it's just replacing, I'm scared of that.
Yeah. It opens up a Pandora's box, and really if the league is using this as an incentive to get the umpires to be better or move on if they're too old, yeah, great. You do it in the All-Star game and just let them know, like, if you guys can't get it together, we're going to lay down the law on this one. But I don't like it. I can list off. Phil Cuzzi always used to go against the Giants. It was very shocking to see Chapman get some favorable calls because Cuzzi has had a history of kind of screwing the Giants. But, there's Cuzzi, there's Gabe Morales.
Yeah,
there's
Gabe Morales.
Marquez. Oh, God, there's another guy, too, that they're just bad umpires. They're bad with the strike zone. And I feel like maybe there's kind of a workaround for the league where there are certain guys that just don't get the home plate gig, right? Like what they did to Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez was so bad that he never got a playoff series or the World Series because they couldn't rely on him to be a good enough umpire to umpire those games that's the ultimate destination. And those games are all important. Every single pitch has impact. So if you got a guy behind the plate you can't trust, where's the credibility in the game? And that's that's the real problem,
Exactly.
And clearly he didn't understand that, thought it was racism and sued him twice and all this nonsense. And it was like, dude, it's performance based, right? Like if you're shitty at your job, you're not getting a promotion. It's not that hard to figure out.
That's
So,
true.
yeah, I'm with you. I don't like the ABS thing. They want to do it in the All-Star game. That's cool. But the last thing I want to see is, off-season news. Oh, MLB implements, ABS for 2026. And there may not even be a season in 2026. So, I mean, I've been trying to avoid that topic all season long, but some of the stuff I've been reading is just not positive.
Yeah, these guys. I mean, did you see what Juan Soto said in response to asking if he was upset about not making the All-Stars?
No.
He said it's a lot of money on the table not to receive. This guy makes the most money in all of baseball, and he's talking about money. It's just these guys' priorities. Some of these guys, it's like, dude, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
$100,000 is the bonus he would get if he went to the All-Stars, but he's making like an absurd. I mean, what does he make it? 230 million.
A ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
This is what I'm curious about. So baseball, every single guy in baseball who's a starter and makes a decent salary, they all do charity work. They all help out their communities. They all put a lot of their own money into programs for kids and things like that. And it's fantastic. I think baseball has a better track record of that than any other professional sport. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, percentage wise, the guys with the biggest salaries, are they putting in as much as the guys who aren't making that kind of money? I mean, by percentage of their salary? I'm curious.
Hard to know.
Because a guy like Soto, I mean, first of all, you shouldn't be whining about money. And second of all,
bad luck.
You better be giving a lot of it up. I mean, it's a tax write-off, right? But I mean, you listen to a lot of these guys and they talk about, the community work that they do and the programs that they work with. And it's awesome, man. They show up these kids' baseball diamonds that they built. It's like Steph Curry with the Warriors, same kind of stuff, right? He's like giving back to the community. And I'd love to see it. But the last thing I want to hear about is somebody complaining about money,
Oh man, it was a bad look. But that's the beauty and the ugliness of social media, because the minute someone makes a mistake like that, they just get bombarded, and then it gets retweeted and whatever other things, just send it to the cyber galaxy. But it's like, man, you hear about everything. And so you got to be careful when you go out there and just have a little anger behind what you're saying. Like,
right.
Take a couple breaths before you say that and make sure that you really want to say that publicly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he can afford to hire a PR person who scripts his interviews so he doesn't screw it up like that,
He probably has one and just has so much ego that it's like so many people in power that they're just like, I know what I'm doing. But it's like,
well, I mean, at the risk of sounding like a complete jerk, like I'm glad that he got snubbed for the All-Star game.
It's amazing. It's hard for me to even get excited about the All-Star game. I really don't care at all. But little things like that is what Marty Lurie would call the story. Yeah. And the story is still important for the All-Star game, and who got snubbed and why this guy made it and yada, yada, yada. But for Soto to be the highest paid player and the most sought after free agent and not make the All-Star game, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Yeah. We need to ask a certain duo who were screaming for Soto to come to San Francisco how they feel about him now. Like, do you still want that guy? Because I don't. I didn't want him to begin with, but I really don't want him now. And I'd be curious, like, the All-Star game runs on fan ballots for the first 2 rounds or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'll bet Alonso got way more All-Star votes than, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Pete
And look,
Alonso, he's the people's champion, right?
well, look at this. If you're a Dodger and or a Met or a Yankee and you're good enough to go to the All-Star game and you don't get the votes, something's wrong. Those are the highest population cities in all of baseball. So it's like, I mean, the Dodgers clearly have like what, 5 or 6 guys going. The Yankees probably have. I haven't looked at the American League, but for Soto not to go and be in New York, that's kind of like, is some of New York not voting for you?
Yeah. Well, I think he got sort of a hot
Oh,
cold.
because the Yankee fans, right?
Well, there's
So
that.
half of New York's like, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, in retrospect, if you look back, like if the Yankees had re-signed him because Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, I was predicting that before he got signed, was that Giancarlo Stanton's aging out, man, and he's an injury candidate, and they'd be smart to keep Soto around as a power bat because they're going to lose one. And then they didn't, and then the Mets signed him. And I don't think when he first started with the Mets that people were all that happy with him. He hit a few home runs, but he was playing out in right field, bobbling balls, missing balls, like making a lot of really egregious, let's say college level errors. And you're playing for one of the premier teams in one of the major markets in the sport, and you're this big star. Like, you got to perform, man. People aren't going to let you off the hook.
Well, it's interesting. If you look at the stats, Soto's got 21 home runs, so that's a big jump. But he's batting 264. Bellinger's batting 281. He's got 53 RBIs. Bellinger has 48 RBIs. Bellinger has 91 hits to Soto's 87 hits. So you replace Soto with a way lesser payment, and you're getting close to the same numbers. And the Yankees got, yeah, you're right. The Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, he's been injury prone his whole career, I think.
Ever since he got hit in the face.
Oh yeah,
that was a rough one.
but he has like legs, arm, everything. Like
he
it's
does
always
now, yeah.
something.
Both elbows, both knees, and look, he's been around a long time. I think people forget how long Stanton's been around the league. So, I mean, he was with Miami forever, and it's just you get to that point, man, where you just start breaking down. I mean, I know from personal experience. So,
yeah, same. I'm right there.
I'm curious, what's Bellinger is going to give you way more on base than Soto, right? In terms of like stealing, in terms of like better base running,
And a better
Soto,
fielder for sure,
and way better defensively. So
yeah.
I mean the Yankees, I think, scored with that. I mean, we both know like Bellinger is ultra streaky hitting wise.
Yep.
But he is fast and he does play good defense, and he gets on base. He can be trouble.
That's right.
So.
Well, there was 2 things that happened. We're not even going to pay attention to yesterday's game, but the previous game, the walk-off grand slam, stand-up walk-off grand slam by a catcher. I think you said it was the first time since like 1926 or something like that.
99 years. And there actually were 2 previous. The last one was 99 years ago, and then there was another one earlier than that, but it's shaky details about what it was. But yeah, first walk-off inside the park home run by a catcher in 99 years.
Glorious. I mean, Patrick Bailey's faster than Wilmer Flores. We know that, but he's still a catcher. There's a record that happened that I don't think anyone has spoken of, and it's at least tied or it holds its own. How many people have thrown one pitch and got the win? You can't do better than that.
Right.
So Ryan Walker is a record holder to that stat. He threw one pitch and received the win, which is insane, right? Like, who else has done that? That's like, that game had so many crazy elements that it was just like, wow. I mean, we all just rose out, and I think we drowned it out the commentators or like did you hear how loud the crowd was? Like you can barely hear Kuiper because
Yeah.
the crowd is like like no one could believe it.
Yeah, and the calls, all of the calls were just incredible.
So good.
Like you
The Spanish
got it.
one,
Yeah.
but Edgar or Higueras, he nailed it with the ay ay ay.
So good. So good. Yeah, I mean, you need stuff like that every once in a while, like something just completely out of the ordinary that gets everybody pumped, you know. And I mean, yesterday it's like, hey, if you're gonna go down like that spectacularly, 13 runs, okay, get it out of your system, take a day off, come back, and it's just a fresh slate, right? You wipe it clean, you start fresh against the Dodgers. And I think they're going to be pumped, man. I think like all I can say is this: if you're lucky enough to be going to the game and you're going to be there, whatever the Dodger fans start to get noisy, you got to drown them out immediately. Immediately. None of this "let's go Dodgers" shit. You can't have that there. You know.
I think the crowds have been pretty good, so I'm kind of cautiously optimistic that like this year's a little different than the previous years, because the year that they brought that huge flag and put it over the whole bullpen or the bleachers, I mean, come on, San Francisco, nothing like it, but come on, you know.
Well,
So
that was Kepler era, right? And
that was Kepler era and Farham.
They weren't packing them in. So, you know, hey, people are going to take advantage of that. The rivalry's real. The Dodgers fans get up for it just like Giants fans do. And hey, you're going to come buy seats at a relatively good price. People would drive up from LA to do that, you know.
And they are, you know, they're gonna. Well, the Dodgers have lost what, 6 in a row coming up here? 7 in a row. Our bullpen is feeling to me the most vulnerable that it's been all year. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if it's like the innings pitched or just the inconsistency has been really concerning. Duvall comes in and gets saves, but they feel like the torture years. Rogers has looked pretty much like Rogers. I got to give him the credit, and Randy has looked pretty solid as well. But Ryan Walker's been just kind of like scary coming in. And then Beck, Lucchesi, Scott Alexander. All of a sudden, we have some names in the bullpen that were like, oh, this is reminding me of yesteryear. I think that the Giants need to put it, and maybe they are going to, but will we see Birdsong in the bullpen for just this series? I think that would be a smart move.
Very possible. I mean, look, Eric Miller was hot and cold. I mean, only lefty in the bullpen, and he just, when he's right and he's throwing heat, he's throwing strikes, he's great. But the problem is you can't expect that out of him every night when he takes the mound. You never know what you're going to get. As far as, you know, Scott Alexander, not what I want. You know, Bivens, what other options do they have? You know, I mean, Lucchesi, I think, is all right, and he's a lefty. You know, I think he's a lefty, and he pitches straight over the top, which I like because the ball's got a lot of downward travel, but it doesn't look like it. So that's great, you know. And look, Randy Rodriguez lights out. Doval, I think is going to solidify what's going on. I think he's just been maybe he's a little tired. I mean, he had a lot
of. You got to encourage him to throw the fastball.
It's the fastball. The slider's the problem, and he's like, that's what everybody talks about. It's just like trust the fastball. You know, and that's what we've been saying. That's what everybody's been saying. It's just like, dude, you got it, use it. You know, trying to be all fine, paint the corners with the slider. A slider, 9 times out of 10, he's having issues with. So why throw it? You know. And then Ryan Walker, you know, you see him struggle, and then he comes on for one game, and you're like, oh, Walker's back. And then the very next time he pitches, it's like it's 3 straight balls to the leadoff hitter. It's like, what are you doing? You know, and they've been talking about he's been having some mechanics issues, and he's trying to get, I guess he got out of the angle of his sidestep. Something got weird where he was coming too much down the mound and not to the side, and so he was ripping everything, to the left when it was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's been trying to work it out, and they've been working with him to try to get it straight. He said the other night that it's like, I finally found that spot again, where my foot goes, where everything works. So fingers crossed on that one. But I don't think the bullpen is in as dire straits as it kind of appears at the moment. Obviously losing Miller was kind of a big deal, and Tristan Beck, I think, is better than he's pitched. So we can hope,
Well, it's funny. I was looking at the Dodgers starting pitchers, and Blake Snell's been on the IL since April 6th. Glasnow just got reinstated, but he went on the IL April 27th.
Yep.
And Sasaki has been out since May 13th.
Yep.
And the best news that I can add to that is there will be none of this. Kike is now on the IL as well, so we won't have to deal with all the weird cup bumping, if you will.
Yeah, and we won't see him pitch when the Giants are up 12-0 in the 8th inning, right?
Exactly. What's up, Daniel? How you living?
Speaking of pitching, Yastrzemski pitched, didn't he?
I know. I need that photo. Andy wasn't working, so I got to go to I got a collection of all the non-pitching people that have been on the mound for San Francisco.
Yeah. He's pitched before. I think he has pitched once last year.
I didn't get the photo though.
Anyways, so this is what I'm hoping, is that Christian Koss is back after the break immediately, because I think Christian Koss is a little bit of a spark plug for this team. He's a utility guy, he's a bench guy, but he's done a lot to contribute to where the Giants are at this year. Small sample size, but dude, come on. I mean, there it is.
Yeah, Christian Koss is going to be a good addition. I really think that Casey Schmidt is our second baseman for the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know what Fitzgerald's role is going to be. It's going to be up to him, but he's probably at best going to be a utility guy coming off the bench and maybe occasionally pinch runner and then getting spot starts. But I could see him and Christian Koss being the infield utility squad, and Schmidt second, Dominic at first, and Wilmer just rotating in and out of wherever they got to put him. But yeah, I don't know. I like Christian Koss actually.
Yeah. And for the time being, Fitzgerald's role is going to be playing the part of a river cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all good with Casey Schmidt. I like that Casey Schmidt's going to have an opportunity to get a lot more playing time than he ever has with the Giants, for a sustained period of time. Because look, he hits, he can play defense, he's got a cannon for an arm, and he can run the bases a little bit too. He's not the fastest guy, but he's got a little speed,
Casey Schmidt does it all. Schmidt happens when Casey plays.
Yeah. We just have to get him to not, gotta get pitchers not to keep beaning the guy.
Dude, the Giants get beamed in general more than any other team. Ramos, Flores, all these guys are getting hit like every game. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you expect that if they're guys that stand over the plate like Rizzo or something, but like these guys they're not really crowding the plate. I mean, it's just, I don't know, people want to pepper the Giants, or if they just put pitchers up against them that have no control, But you don't like to see that because guys get hurt, and then you're screwed. I mean, look at Tyro Estrada, twice broken hand, right? With the Giants, got plunked.
Yeah, he's finally playing again.
Yeah.
D-Bugs would charge the mound, no doubt. You throw your helmet at the pitcher when you're charging too. You got to pull that Harper move out.
Go after Strickland. Yeah.
That was wild.
I like how he didn't throw the helmet at him, but sort of generally in his direction. It was like, that's some of the better fisticuffs we've seen in baseball in recent memory anyway. I mean, it's a long time ago now, but still that one sticks out.
So Bags had a little article today about what he thinks Buster should be looking for in a left-handed relief pitcher. And he named Danny Coulomb, sorry about the pronunciation, of the Twins, Caleb Ferguson of the Pirates, and Justin Wilson of the Red Sox. He said those are the three guys, one of those guys at least Buster should be going after. And I didn't know enough about these guys, so I kind of looked into them, but it'd be cool. I don't know if you could do it, if you can bring those comparison things on guys where you're like, oh, this guy, how they drop down. I don't even know what site that is, but
Yeah, I can dig it up, and you'll just have to text me the names, and then maybe for the next we do the post series wrap on the Dodgers, we'll bring it up and look at it. Because look, we're coming up on the deadline. We're getting a couple weeks away.
What is it? July
31st.
31st. Okay. Yeah. So the end of July.
Yeah.
Whisenhunt throwing that changeup out of the bullpen is an option, but you need veteran presence. I don't think Whisenhunt comes up this year unless he's a starter, and I kind of want him and Eldridge to come up together next year. That's how I feel. I think Whisenhunt's only going to hurt his reputation if he comes up too early. He's not as polished as people think he is. He's been getting raked in AAA occasionally, and I'd just rather see him work on his stuff. We don't need Whisenhunt out of the bullpen. I think they can do better. So sorry, Daniel, if I rained on your parade there, but that's my feelings. We can all agree to disagree, though.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole philosophy on the prospects has changed since Buster came in too, where it's like Randy Rodriguez, legit major league pitcher, right? They brought him up. It wasn't like, oh, the growing pains, this and that. It's like Randy came prepackaged, just throwing fire and being just striking guys out like crazy.
Right.
So he was ready, when he came up. And look, just by attrition or whatever other reasons, Birdsong and Roop were like kind of the rookie, like sketchy young guys. Roop has completely proved his worth at the major league level. Birdsong it seemed like he had it, and then he didn't have it. And so I'm hoping that he gets it back. But yeah, I think the idea of having Birdsong in the pen for this Dodgers series is great, because he's certainly going to give you much better pitching than Scott Alexander, than pretty much any of those guys we mentioned. Birdsong is going to be stronger. And if he only has to put in an inning or two, great,
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. Daniel's talking Luciano, who's leading the team in home runs. He's been on fire down there. Yeah, I think he was the player of the week or player of the month. I texted you the other day. I was like, it's perfect time to trade this guy. Like, he's looking really valuable. We don't need him in the outfield. We definitely don't need him in the infield. And maybe we can get some really good pieces for him. So my question is to everyone out there, do you think Luciano is on the Giants after the trade deadline this year?
I'm leaning towards he may get shipped, and they may throw in an arm and bring in a starter, I think. But I think Buster's looking for both. I think he's looking for a starting arm. I think he's looking for a bat. He may even be looking for a bullpen piece too, So we don't know, but they've all said we're not done. Buster's not done. And I think he's going to go after some big fish at the deadline. I don't think it's going to be like some guy you never heard of, right? They're going to try to come up on something big.
People really want Buster to get somebody that's used to wearing black and orange. I'll give you a hint on that.
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
Somebody out of the Baltimore system.
Yeah, they want Ryan Hearn bad.
Interesting.
So, and the Orioles look like they kind of opened the gates today. I think they made a move, and the news was kind of saying, look for the Orioles to start being really active. I don't know who's available and who's not from their perspective. I don't think they're going to get rid of, Adley or Gunner or some Holiday, these guys, but you never know. The big news that I read right before we went on is the Braves are thinking about redoing the whole ship and trading Acuna.
I've heard this. I've heard this rumor going around.
I mean, geez Louise. Imagine trading Acuna. I would give up the kitchen sink for that guy.
How many years does he have left on his deal in Atlanta? It's got to be like at least 3, right?
But he's only getting like $100 million for like 8 years, I think.
Yep.
Like it's not. It's definitely nowhere near Soto, Judge, and all them.
Yep. The only thing I'd be worried about with Acuna is he's had 2 ACLs, right? And knees. Oh, but look, the bat is undeniable, right? And he can run the bases and he plays really good defense if he's not destroying himself out there. I think he'd be great in right field, Oracle. I think he could really play that well.
You know? Are you kidding me? I would return my Devers jersey and go straight for the Acuna jersey. He's one of my favorites that, like, even including the Giants. He's fire, man.
So the eternal question for the next 21 days is, what do you put together to get him?
I don't think the Giants can do it. I mean, they were even talking about it in the article that like teams like maybe the Tigers have a chance, or, you know, somebody that has tons of good young people, because they're going to want everything, right? Yep. It's like Bryce Eldridge, Wisenhunt. Those are for sure first 2, but you need like 5 more guys. Like you already got rid of Tibbs. But
so let me pose a hypothetical question. Do you give up Bryce Eldridge to get Acuna?
100% I do.
I would too. I wouldn't even have to think about it.
150%.
Because you got Rafi Devers, who potentially can be your first baseman.
Yeah.
Or he can platoon with either Dom Smith, or even if they want to shift Casey over to first and platoon with Devers and you run somebody else out at second base. I mean, look, like I'd give up Bryce Eldridge for him. And anybody who thinks that's just a mortal sin to say that, I'll take all the heat for that. But I would do it. I would do it.
Well, the thing that, you know, Eric doesn't want to hear me talking about this early in 2025, but the Giants are getting Kyle Tucker next year, so we don't have anything to worry about with Acuna. We're going to have Kyle Tucker in right field next year, and you can take that to the bank. You heard it right here on Skaters on Baseball, July 10th, 2024. Rewind the tapes when we get there, because it's going to be a fun day.
Do you think Kyle Tucker is going to be the highest priced free agent this offseason? Got to be, right?
I think so. I don't think it's not a huge market this year, I don't think. But going back to your earlier statement, which I don't want to go there, but are we going to have a 2026 season?
I don't know.
Only time will tell.
They got to figure it out, because, you know, look, it was what, 39 years ago, whatever it was, the 94 strike was it really hurt baseball, and it took a long time for that to sort of repair itself and heal itself. They cannot afford that again. You know, you consider for a second, like a family, right? What it costs to take your family to a game, the tickets, the parking, the food, the drinks, the kids want the souvenir. They want the ice cream sundae and the miniature batting helmet. They want all that stuff. Man, it is expensive. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the fans will just, I think it'll be worse than it was the last time around. You know, they were throwing dollar bills out of the stands onto the field and just heckling guys. And, you know, that's the 8,000 people that showed up at the stadium. Right. And then they had that whole thing where they had like, they kept going, and they had like minor leaguers and like other people like playing the games at the major league level, which was just an insult on top of the whole thing. Right. Nobody wants to see that. It's like, I want to see AAA, AA. I'll go there and see that.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a major league stadium and pay those kind of ticket prices, and I'm watching a guy from Eugene play third base. That's not happening, dude. So I think they really got to work that out. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to solve it, because it seems like every party involved in it is just like keeping their arms crossed and not coming to the table. You know?
Hey, Daniel, are you down to come on next time we're on for a review of this movie? Because I'd love to hear about it. I want to go see it in the IMAX. We could do like 5 minutes. Tell us about the movie, the F1 movie. I'd love to hear that. And if Shardall's seen it, we'll give him 5 minutes too. That'd be great. We're gonna start opening up the links and sending them out to get you guys on more often if you're down. What we need to see is you kind of wanting to be on. So make comments like Chardal always does. Can I come on? If there's a few of you guys out there, we can get a little routine where at the end of our shows we have somebody come on for a little bit.
Yeah, do a little open lines for sure. So yeah, D-Bogs, that was they were about to move to Florida, and I went to a game. They were playing Cincinnati. It was at Candlestick, and it was like nobody knew if the team was going to be around or not the following year. And it was like the middle of July. It was like 42 degrees and foggy and horrible at Candlestick. And, I felt like, man, this is the last time I might ever get to see this team again. But
yeah, it was St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yep.
It was very close. Like I remember being so scared, like, oh no, what? And then out of nowhere. That's why, we say St. Pete. I think the guy deserves a statue somewhere, in the park, next to the trophies, somewhere. I think the guy really helped San Francisco a lot.
Yeah. St. Peter McGowan, right?
St. Peter.
Speaking of statues, has there been any more information about where Barry Bonds might reside at Oracle?
Well, they were talking about it on that radio station you don't like to listen to this, where they had Larry Bear on. And I've been tuning into the interviews. I try to tune out until like somebody that's worth listening to comes on. And Larry was talking about, because they were saying, should we put it up into kind of where I said, in the stadium on the walkway behind the right field fence?
Yep.
And Larry was like, I like that idea, except for it would really make traffic up there really bad. And then they proposed the idea. I think Marcus or Murph, one of them, threw out, what if we put him in McCovey Cove, like the Statue of Liberty? And they were all pondering it for a minute, like, oh, that's a great, And then Larry goes, I don't think that's going to work for the kayakers and the boats and stuff. So I don't think that they know anything about it right now, because Larry was like, look, it's going to happen, but we don't know when. We don't know the pose. We don't know where it's going to be. So that's the reason I haven't wanted to talk about it yet, because we still have to do a lot of doing. And we've talked to Barry a little bit, but very little. And so it's going to happen. I'm guessing, imagine if it happened the year, let's say 2030, 25, maybe 2030, we could have another All-Star game and they unveil it like that week or something. Or if the Giants win the World Series before that, we could do something. But I think it should be an honorary thing. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that whole notion of it being out in the cove. Can you imagine every day somebody's got to sail out to it and clean all the bird shit off of it? Like if it's inside or out front, easy maintenance, right? To keep it clean. It's like, I think we were talking about this a while back, and it was like we were saying like he should be somewhere near Willie Mays, because
that's the most obvious, right?
Yep.
And they're the two greatest to ever play.
Yeah.
It's like the GOAT and the GOAT's grandson, godson.
Yeah, you don't ever move Willie. Willie stays exactly where he's at, right?
Well, Willie's the only statue that was there before the ballpark opened.
Right.
So, I mean, it's Willie Mays Plaza. It's 24 Willie Mays Plaza. The right field fence is 24 feet tall. Like, this is Willie's house. But Barry built it in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah. Wow. Speaking of number 24, this jackass from Arizona. Yeah. This jackass from Arizona decided to show up at Oracle the other
Oh,
night
yeah.
wearing his Arizona Diamondbacks
Home
home
run
run
thief.
thief with the number 24 on it. Why some self-respecting Giants fan didn't rip that jersey off his back and take it outside and burn it promptly, I will never understand. I mean, this guy, it's like, it's already a bad look for you, bro, and you're going to go and make it worse somehow.
He's
You could.
he's waving his flag about how his stupidity. It's pretty it's kind of an example of what's going on in our country, man. There's a lot of things that I can't even say.
No, it just goes all the way back to Andy Warhol. He said, in the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. Well, this guy's already overstayed his 15 minutes by about 3.5 days at this point. It's like, you got banned from Arizona. If the league had any balls, they'd tell every city and franchise to ban him from their park just for this attitude that he's carrying around. Like, he's
there's
proud
no apology.
he's proud of being a dick.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I've had moments in my life where I was proud that I was a dick in that moment. Okay. But like, to just think that somehow you're bigger than the game. You're trying to make a name for, what is it? You're just some retired jerk that prides himself on interfering with the integrity of a professional baseball game. This is not something to be proud of. This is something to like disappear, right? To go dark and like let it cool down. But he's going to keep pulling this. If he shows up at the latrine doing that, it's going to be a real problem. He's lucky that San Francisco fans are a little more placid when it comes to interaction with fans of other teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might not bust him up at Petco or Oracle or up in Seattle or, but dude, you step in somebody else's house like the Dodgers, the Yankees, look out, Boston, Philly. Right. And now he's probably going to run off and say, oh, San Francisco's soft. I walked around in this jersey and nobody did anything. It's like, yeah, well, come back and see what happens.
Yeah. That guy. Yeah. It was very surprising that he was out there and that people, Friday night at Candlestick, that guy's not going to fare very well. But Tuesday night at Oracle, a lot of people are just happy to be alive, and it's the soft world we live in now.
This is what I wish. Okay, so let's say the Giants find out that he's coming into town for a game. Say, oh, this is the game he has a ticket for. Half-price beer night. That'll take care of it. People get a little sloppy and surly, and it'll be on, right?
We'll see.
Dude, Candlestick, when they used to have like 75-cent beer night or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It got.
But you got to remember where Candlestick was. It's in like the heart of Hunters Point, like real sketchy neighborhood. So
yeah, but it wasn't those people. It was a bunch of crusty old white dudes.
Yeah, it just had the atmosphere of all of it, though. It was just. And look, obviously different times. Like nowadays, people are so timid to do anything physical because people will film it and then you're in jail for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's never a good place for physical altercations and violence. It should never take place, right? But some people push the issue. It's just the way it is.
That's true. Well, look, we haven't talked about it in a while, but I'm curious to know Christian Cooper's concern with Kisner, the backup catcher concern. He played yesterday and he's looked all right to me behind the plate. He hasn't been hitting very well, but none of our catchers seem to be. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this. I don't like the one knee style of catching because it cuts down your ability to react to balls you got to block that are off to one side or the other. He's had some pass balls, right? And it's just, look, there's a fundamental way to play that. I mean, I remember watching Buster Posey always in the squat, right? And he had the little elevators on the back of his calves to rest his thighs on. Like, just go that route, I mean, look, Kisner's not really a hitter, and we've always said, like, your backup catcher has to be one thing. He's either got to be really good defensively or he's got to hit a little bit, but you can't have neither, and you're not going to get both out of a backup guy. And yeah, I mean, is he better than Stassi? Is he better than Huff? Is he better than that other guy that we've forgotten who his name was, because he's still in the
Logan Porter?
organization, but there's him too. But I was thinking of the other guy that actually cost some money and has been AWOL for 3 seasons.
Tom Murphy. No, I have the people are going to hate this, I'm pretty sure, but I would love it. For these next 3 games, we send Kisner down to Sacramento and we bring up Austin Barnes. I think you got to do it, man. You got to rub salt their wounds. I mean, if it was Dodger Stadium, I think you would have to do it. Yeah. But it's not going to go over so great in Oracle. But we do have that little salt to throw at them. If you know how Ahmed hit a home run against us the same year, just those kind of things are so good for the rivalry.
Yeah, well, you could bring him up as a backup, play him one of the games, I think Patrick Bailey's going to have a little bit of a renewed zest for playing, so we might see him all 3 games against the Dodgers, right?
Look for Bailey to start hitting a little bit better too. I think that last game he played he was the exact guy that needed that moment. Like that just dropped his shoulders. Look, he's had more Tops Now cards than any other Giant in the last 3 years since I've been collecting them. He has had 3 or 4 walk-off wins. Yep. He's been clutch in a lot of situations. This year, for whatever reason, he just has looked like dog dirt with his bat. He's barely swinging. The ball's not getting very good exit velocity. That ball he hit for the inside of the Parker was a home run in every stadium besides ours.
Yep.
So I want to see that intensity from him where he's hitting the ball. And look, he sat there and looked at it for a minute, and he could have looked at it for 2 minutes longer and not made it home. But he realized, I got to fucking run. And that guy was gassed. He was out of wind, man. But that moment and the Elliot Ramos moment, those 2 this year, those are bangers that are going to last for a long time. I think this Patrick Bailey one for me is better than Angel Pagan, but that's the level that a lot of people are putting it on, as the Angel Pagan inside the Parker versus Bailey. But look, Bailey's a catcher and he didn't even slide. And it's just the whole thing. The one thing that I know you don't like, and I don't like either, is the photo is he's in that damn City Connect. It's the only thing that spoiled the moment for me.
Yeah. But hey, they got a win in them, which means they're now 4 and 5 in those uniforms or something like that. So not quite to 500 yet. Yeah, I was just about to ask. I'm assuming this is Austin Barnes we're talking about.
Oh my God, that is. I don't know where to go with this. White Mexican. Okay. We've had him for a little bit. He got DFA'd by the Dodgers, and then Giants picked him up, and he's been in sack for, I'd say, probably 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. Probably close to a month at the most. So yeah, we'll see though. Kisner's a nice enough guy. I think we can keep improving on that. And we'll see if we do. I mean, the trade deadline, what are our concerns? Getting a pitcher, getting a relief pitcher. People have been talking about DJ LeMahieu. I don't think he's any better than Casey Schmidt, personally. I'd rather just stay with Casey Schmidt.
LeMahieu's old. He's
not, I mean, they DFA'd him for a reason.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's like he's starting to get a little injury prone too. So I think the biggest goal should be a starting pitcher, right? Like that's the one that's going to cost you,
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about this insane Acuna deal or whatever, something crazy like that. But like you said, Kyle Tucker, if they're willing to spend the money and he's willing to come, yeah, that's a no brainer. Okay.
And his mom is Mother Tucker.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. I just really feel like, between the struggles that they've had getting run support for Verlander and Birdsong just not seeming to reacquire the starter role as easily, it might be the biggest need that they have right now is another starting arm option.
See, I would like to see Birdsong go back into the bullpen and somebody come to the organization that could be the third guy. Like Roop goes to 4 and Verlander goes to 5, and we have a 1, 2, 3 that's just like, hopefully that's the idea behind,
That would be my priority. A bat, obviously, they can always use. And I think, bats can be had, right? Teams that are really struggling, they got a couple of guys that can really bang it, you can get those dudes.
What do you think of my new my new Justin Verlander jersey? We just realized it the other day when we were in Sacramento. Cheryl's wearing it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a Crawford jersey. That's a Verlander jersey.
I like how you have it placed just so the name is cropped out back there.
No, there's no name on it. That's what we do is we get just the numbers. So like if the guy leaves, you're not stuck with, you just got the new guy. So that's like my Hunter Pence went to La Stella to like Conforto, and now it's just on ice. I don't know maybe Eldridge is going to be the new one.
Somebody's going to come and take it. Yeah. Yeah. That's all you hope is down the line in the future, it doesn't get taken up by a total schlub. Right. So.
Daniel, I hope you're wrong, because Christian and I were both rooting for Alcantara to come to the Giants. I think that would be I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's next season he will be a little bit further out from the surgery. I think he'll be in. Yes, there it is.
That's true too, my man. Good call out on that, Richie. You wore it first.
I think Alcantara is a little bit of a gamble, but it's not. He's probably not going to cost that much.
Is he a free agent next year, or he has one more year? Right,
he might have one more year, but he might not cost that much in a trade. The problem is like if you get him this year at the trade deadline, you basically have to ride him till the end of the year, not being 100%. And I don't think the Giants can afford to bring in a guy who's not 100%.
Right. No,
this is a season that they should be making a push for the postseason. Look, we're at the midway point. Okay. And I think whatever happens in this Dodgers series, the Giants take this series. Okay. This is going to change the whole complexion of this season and take it up like 5 notches. Right.
They're a little worried. Like they're definitely focusing on this. They're like, dude, this could go bad real quick.
Yep. Because look, the Padres aren't slowing down. They're keeping pace, and both the Giants and the Padres took big advantage of the Dodgers losing streak, managed to gain a lot of ground. I mean, the Giants picked up 4 games in the standings.
That's right.
And so,
Mookie's not hitting. I mean, if you've watched any of the Dodgers, Shohei keeps hitting bombs, but the rest of the team's not hitting up to their normal standards. So they've lost a lot of pitchers to the IL, and then their bats have kind of quieted a little bit.
They have.
So Brewers swept them, and then who swept them before the Brewers?
Was it? I'm totally blanking on it now, but yeah, they had 2 sweeps.
It was an American League team, I think, but yeah. Astros.
Astros, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Ohtani's been popping up and striking out a lot, right?
Dude, let's light him up Saturday. Come on.
Yep. I mean, look, he's going to come in with heat, but he's going to be in the zone. So sit on the fastball in the zone and just go off. He's going to provide the power. And look, he's only going to last for 2 innings, and maybe not even that if they light him up. So I'm looking for guys to get on him right away. It would be really good. Drop down some bunts that he feels like he has to field.
Let's make
Like,
that guy move
just
around
dude,
out
just
there.
mess with him, right? It's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you think you're gonna get me? Yeah, I'm gonna drop down a bunt right here that's just out of the range of the catcher and make you run towards the third base side, slip and fall and get bruised up, and then you gotta go right back to the mound and keep throwing." That's what my game plan would be.
I like it. I like it. Let's get some
And
speed out there too.
and I'm gonna predict that Devers is gonna, like, rock Ohtani.
Here's the thing. Devers could put his name. This is the perfect weekend for Devers to wake up and do something dramatic, hit a ball into the water, make me go get a jersey, do a walk off, get the Tops Now card, be on the front of the Chronicle, do it all, and then go into the All-Star break with some yoga stretches and come back like, I'm a giant now. You guys, I'm retiring with this hat on my head. Forget the Red Sox. I'm a giant.
Yeah.
He can, dude, one move like that against the Dodgers is forever. Remember Brian Johnson? Like, there's guys that have come in and done one thing and we'll never forget them.
Yep.
So this is the moment for Devers.
Travis Ishikawa.
Yeah. All these guys.
Yeah, it's insane. I just want to touch on this briefly, baby. Yeah, I mean, think about if the Giants had gotten a W in half of Verlander's starts this year. Think about where they'd be right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And so what? They've blown, I think, 6 leads.
Yep.
The bullpen has blown 6 leads. And then there's been obviously at least 3 or 4 games that he lost 1-0 one game. It's like, yeah. So yeah, we could easily have 4. How far are we back? 5 or 6 or 7?
5 right now. Yeah.
Okay. So 5 back, we could easily have 5 wins for Verlander, which would put us tied.
Yep.
Yeah. You're spot on that one.
Yep. So look, I don't know if you noticed this, you probably did, but when you went back and watched the replay of Bailey's walk-off, you see how crazy Devers was going out there? He's jumping up and down, he's just a shit-eating grin on his face, screaming, I mean, like, he's right in there with Willie and all those dudes. Like, they're just Ramos, they're going off. Like, dude, the energy you see in all those dudes
they just ripped his jersey.
They were all at the plate by the time Bailey got there. Like,
it's great.
Everybody piled out, you know.
It's a team, man. I feel like they are a team. They have a lot of camaraderie.
Yep. And they got a little Dominican mafia going in there, which I really like.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's like, they're like, yeah, bring in the Venezuelan. They got Matos in there. Like, these guys are tight, man. They're tight. So,
and Joshua, their number 1 pick, is from Dominican too. He's he's in Arizona, but he may come to San Jose for the end of the season, which I'm like, oh, I'm going if he's up here for sure.
Oh yeah. It's beautiful. The Giants have a long history of guys from the Dominican. They're just amazing ball players. You have the Alous, you have Marichal, you know,
the Dominican dandy.
Yep, the Dominican dandy. You got the baby bull. You got all these guys in the history of the Giants. It just, man, they just seem to play great baseball, and they're just exciting, and the emotion that they have is great. You know, I love Dominican players.
Well, I think D-Boggs has the right idea. I think the boneheads need to eat, and that makes me hungry. I got to make tacos. It's Thursday taco. We don't do Taco Tuesday. We do Taco Thursday.
Hey, it works.
So I'm grinding up some meat, and we're going to have some tacos. My wife will probably be home any minute. I really appreciate you guys. I don't know how come we can't get a few more people in here so that we can do a giveaway. I hate to be a broken record, but we got to reach 20 people in the chat so we can start giving away stuff. And I'm not afraid to get some nice things to give away as well, but spread the word for us. And I know who the regulars are, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Everybody in here is solid. Our pals. I have one request. I know a lot of you guys go on to Giant Sports Talk Live and some of the NorCal Sports Network, a lot of these other things. Just give us a shameless plug in the chat. Just say, like, those guys over at Skaters on Baseball, they know what's up. They're not going to sit here and whine and complain. They got good, legit topics, and they're having a good time, and they're hyped and positive on the Giants this year. So, like, get some.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. If you guys missed it, we got this little Patrick Bailey hype, and that'll take us out of here. We'll see you next time. Probably Sunday night, huh, Christian?
Yep. Let's do a Dodgers wrap and little, I don't know, home run derby preview.
And if my friend Brew M is available for Sunday night, looking nice behind me, black and orange broom back there, I'll take it all day, man. We'll be going to the All-Star break like crazy.
Absolutely.
How about this? If the Giants sweep the Dodgers, we'll be on the air like All-Star break a few extra times with just rubbing it in. We'll do a full rub it in the Dodgers, shit on Farhan, Roberts, Kike, Kershaw, the whole thing. If we sweep them, we're going to go to town, baby. So let's hope it happens. And thanks, guys. Here's the Patrick Bailey little video we made, tribute to his walk-off.
Patrick Bailey. Patrick hits a high drive. Deep right center field. Alto, al derecho. And it's off the top of the wall. And it's off the top of the wall. La pelota la está buscando Castellanos. La pelota choca contra la cerca. And it ricochets. And it's rolling on the warning track. Rolling along the warning track. Ay, ay, ay. Patrick Bailey le está dando vuelta a tercera base. This game is tied. The game is tied. 2 runs are in. Bailey's around third. Bailey's on the move. Bailey's on the move. Bailey coming around third. He's heading for home. This game is tied. Bailey's around third. He's heading for home. Patrick Bailey scores. Va a ser cuadrangular dentro del parque y los Gigantes acaban de ganar el juego. It's an inside the park walk-off home run. This now we've seen everything. Ay, ay, ay.
So good.